Okay. Thank you for your patience, Marcia. All right.
No
So,
problem.
so what we're doing today is, in a nutshell, this is a personal branding class that, excuse me, that we put together for Alchemist Nation group. It's through, you came through probably through a real estate related page of some kind. I want to say a meetup. Is that accurate?
I've known Gualter for years, and I've been on most of his Zooms there, so I see you there.
Okay. All right, good. So we're not complete strangers. That's all right. So what what made you decide to I guess pick this up as far as personal branding goes? As what is it that you're looking for to do? What kind of business are you going to be in? And then, like, how what are your thoughts about it and why you need it?
I'm a real estate investor like Walter.
Okay.
And I'm not nearly, he's out there all the time and I'm not. I'm very behind the scenes. So I don't even put Facebook Lives, but I do have a partner. I don't know if you've ever noticed Mario on any of our Zooms, but he's quite the opposite. He does a Facebook Live every day, talks about different subjects. We're investors. So we're pretty much, he concentrates on three different niches: investing and health and wellness, and I forget what his third niche is. I don't watch his videos anymore.
So are you looking to start getting out there more as far as
Yeah, I need to get out and make some Facebook Lives and brand myself because, as I said, I'm kind of behind the scenes. I do see clients once in a while, but generally it's Mario that goes out to the clients.
what kind of clients do you want? Like, who do you want to appeal to as a real estate investor? I mean, there's
Well, right now there's going to be a big foreclosure, so we're trying to help people in foreclosure. So yeah, we want to do a little bit more on that.
okay.
Telling people, don't give your house to the bank, give it to us.
Okay. And are you the person that's direct to the seller? In other words, they call you, or how's your business work? Do they
I
call?
robocall. I don't know if you've seen our Monday night calls, but I do robocalling direct to the customers, asking them if they're thinking of selling, seeing if we can help them in any way, if they're in foreclosure and stuff like that. We have some creative financing, and
And are you the person that gets on the phone with them, or you just have people pre-qualify them and then you get on the phone with them?
I'm the caller.
Okay.
I don't have a VA.
Okay. No, no problem. That I was just trying to find out. Now, does your business have a name?
Yes, it's M&M Solution Provider.
Okay. M&M solution provider. Has anybody ever mentioned the I guess the obvious, that like M&Ms, is it like, make the joke about the candy or anything like that?
Yeah.
That ever come up, or does that bother you? I'm just curious.
Uh, well, they know Marsha and Mario. They know that it's probably from that. But yeah, we could probably do something. I don't want to do any copyright infringements on that, but
Well, I'm not looking for, I guess, not that, but okay. So we're talking
it
about
could be
branding.
fun to do something with the M&M.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. So the thing about branding and all things is you're kind of looking for something fun to set you apart. So because M&Ms are a common, it's pretty well known, you could capitalize on the idea of using some of that branding and leveraging it to kind of reflect some of your stuff, or even as simple as giving out M&Ms to clients or mailing them M&Ms, or there are actually M&Ms that they're customizable too, so you could actually
Ah,
put your names on them, buy them in packs. uh, like I said, you can go online and look that up, but I've seen that before. People have done it as pranks that were pretty funny, but
yeah.
they would put like M&Ms and it was just like like calling people an idiot or stuff like that. But the point is like you can use them for good too. So what I was thinking was, you know, Eminem's Eminem foreclosure specialist, you could kind of like make your branding candy colors and you know integrate some of that in there. I don't think you would be, you know, take like I'm not saying to go and take their exact like logos or anything like that. I'm just saying to play with that because I think you will stand out more and have fun with it. So one of the things about this book, like it'll take you through, is kind of finding, you know, who you are, what's your passion. I like to tell people like take like whatever it is you're doing, it like if it's real estate, and then mix it together with something that you're passionate about. Could be skiing, could be wine, could be motorcycles, could be anything, and find a way to put those things together if you have nothing else, because people want to know the person behind like the product, if you want to call it that. You know, your brand, you're selling something, you have a product, but 99% of the time that product is not something that they're looking for right away or for them. Of course, you want to be their first thought when it does happen,
Yep.
but in the meantime, all marketing is getting on people's radar, right? So how can you get on people's radar in a way that's not salesy when they're not looking for anything, but you still want them to remember you? And that is kind of
Mhm.
like sharing, you know, what your passions are, your hobbies, something like that, but not necessarily all of them. I would say pick one, because
Right.
I'll give you an example. When I was building up this particular brand, you know, I wanted to be about family and fun. So as a wholesaler, all right. And so I picked his name, Daddy's Fast Cash, and it was like because dad, I'm a dad. It's a cartoon character, so that's fun. And I'm about family. And then fast cash is a solution to a problem. Everybody wants fast cash for their home. Thus, Daddy's Fast Cash. Like that went
Yeah.
together well. And then I played with that, and I made it. You know, all my email communications and the way that I communicated with people when I wasn't selling something and when I was selling something was jokey, funny, goofy, weird, because that's
Mm.
who I am.
Yep.
Not everybody liked it, but you don't want everybody to like you anyway. You want people to either like you or not like you. But
Mhm.
if you're not on their radar, they don't care about you. That's death. So like you or hate you, but you know your name's still in their mouth. You're still in their mind. And I've seen it where people who didn't like me or like I didn't get along with over the years turn to me because I never changed. And then they did because they thought, well, it was a gimmick maybe or something at first, but then I never changed. So it actually helps you solidify your brand over time. So what would be like something of yours that's like a hobby or a passion?
I'd have to think about that. I don't have too much. But as a partnership, I've got Mario and he's into a lot of different things. So I would work on that with him.
Well, I mean, he's a different person, so obviously
Yeah.
he might not agree with any of this, but with you, you know, you could like flowers, you could just be a gardener. You could, I mean, whatever that is. And why I bring it up is because I'll give you an example. One of the ladies that came on, she was into cooking. So I was like, well, and she had, I forgot, her name was pretty good. It was kind of like it was really catchy if she had done it the way that I kind of suggested. If you could go back in the videos, you could probably find it.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Apologies. My wife ran out and my daughter was complaining. So, and that's what happens when you have six kids. So yeah,
Oh my goodness.
that's the whole daddy thing. You know that's gonna happen a lot because there's six of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw
Uh,
you on last night. That was
oh,
fun.
you got to yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a circus in town here.
No, no, the more the merrier. I was one of six kids and I I I liked it. I like getting together with big family.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's sometimes it's tiring, but yeah, there's always you're never lonely, that's for sure. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
um, back to this, developing your own thing in your communications is because I see you keep. I mean, Mario's the front man. I got that, but everybody should have their own personality in this because God forbid a partnership goes sour. Like I always say, like when people they, for example, like you're a real estate agent and you're Century 21, and you're a part of the whatever team, the you know the get in team or whatever. Now, if your name's not getting and you happen to not no longer want to work for the get in team, then everything, including the jacket that you wear and all the branding for KW or Century 21 or whoever, they don't go with you. So the importance of a personal brand is simply this: your people go with you, which whatever way you go, and
Mhm.
that's important. All these channels, Facebook, Google, everything, they control the flow of traffic to you. If they decide to ban you from their channel for some reason, or anything, I mean, lots of things can happen. You lose an account, what happens then? How do you communicate with people? So the idea of a personal brand is actually getting to know people well enough to get their emails and their phone numbers, and then communicate them in a way that when you need to, when they really need you, they can get to you,
Mhm.
but not so much that you're so over marketing or so in their face that it annoys them, because
Got it.
there is this fine line. So like Gary
Yep.
Vee, people like that, they're always people resonate towards them because they're always giving values, tips, tricks, and all that. So whenever
Mhm.
there is a transaction to be had, like their first, hey, I should hire this guy. He really knows what he's doing. So why I say that is you could talk forever about foreclosures and niches and all this other stuff, but sometimes people just wanted to know more about you and what you do and what you're about, your story. What's your kids' names? Maybe they have a kid the same name. Maybe one of your kids
Mhm.
is on the spectrum and they have a kid on the spectrum. So these are not things you typically share in business relationships, but these are the things that will connect you to real people and
Mhm.
ultimately to what will lead to sales and transactions and trust and getting to know each other. So this book kind of takes you through a lot of things that I did, like creating a logo and well, creating a nickname and a logo, getting clear about your why, and all the various ways. But the first thing you got to do is get to like, who are you, right? So I know that's not a question that we're probably going to get deep in today. Who are you? But you got to remember
Yeah.
who you're going to be in the marketplace. Are you going to be, the M&M lady? Like that's a good like in real estate, there's no M&M lady. Maybe that's
Right.
you, right? So how do people remember anybody in any space is for something good or for something bad? Well, you want it to be for something good, something colorful, something positive. So you have to
Mm.
figure out how to create that, pick that thing. So
Got it.
with with a lot of people, it's nicknames. It's like Rank McCann, the real estate man, or Preston Ely, King of Wholesalers, or Short Sale Kid, or there's like all these people that branded themselves and became, for one of a better word, like notorious and in a
Uh-huh.
good way. And that's kind of what you want. So the M&M lady's not that bad, and doesn't have to. Mario can be the straight laced and nichey guy, and you guys work together, but you can be the candy lady. You can be the one that brings the color and the fun and doesn't think,
Mm.
eh, how there's good cop and bad cop, right?
Yeah,
So
no, it's quite the opposite. Mario's the outspoken, gregarious, in your face kind of guy, and I'm the very quiet. I observe a lot, and I'm in the
what
background most of the time. The only thing that I can play off my name is Marsha, Marsha, Marsha of the Brady Bunch.
well,
Um,
yeah, I mean, you can play on
that's
the.
what I try to tell people when they say, what's how do you say your name? It's Marsha. Marsha, 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 but like the Brady Bunch. And I have a brother Greg, and there were 6 kids in my family, and 3 boys, 3 girls, it was all weird.
Well, I mean, and that's cool too. Like you can play with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be so on the nose like that. That's not on the nose, but like M&M's. The thing with M&M's is like it doesn't have to be like everything. It can be a little touch. but people might like, oh, does, they might look for meaning in it. People are always looking for meaning in everything, honestly.
Mm.
So you your story, how you get through to people, how you brand yourself, a lot of this stuff is in here. And I would
Okay.
say, go through it, figure out your why and your story, because people like to know why you do things and who you are. And so
Mm-hmm.
the more they get to know about why you're helping people from foreclosures, you know, for example, if I was in foreclosures, I have a personal story that I can use to relate to people, and it's all kinds of turny and twisty. And th- the end of it was, a lot of people don't realize that, they think bankruptcy is the answer. And one of the things that I realized after going through it was, if I had have done bankruptcy after I had to deal with these two short sales and try to
Mm.
get out from under them, that I would have never been able to adopt kids. And so,
Ah.
because I used like real estate, all my connections, and for the truth of the matter is, guidance from God, because everybody was telling me, to do it, but something was telling me not to.
Mm.
I learned a lot about the short sale process and the foreclosure process and how it works from the inside, and I
Okay.
was able to get out from under it without going through all that. And so that
Nice.
would be my personal, in the trenches story for that, which I would use to communicate that to the customer that you're talking to. So that would be something I did. I don't know if you have anything like that, but these are
I do.
these are the important stories that they need to know about you. Um, Now, if you're gonna get on social media, you're you're gonna you're gonna
I'd
want to
like to
have.
kind of educate people that there is alternatives, that you do not have to give cash for keys to the bank, or you do not have to do a short sale, or there are different things that you're not may not be aware of. Um, so yeah, I probably should do some educational ones with this coming up. I'm trying to study right now the short sale process. I'm going to try and become an expert at that so that I can
Takes
help
a
people in
lot, a
that
lot.
way as
Takes
well.
takes a lot of patience and perseverance, because it's literally a game of hot potato that people
Yeah.
pass around for hundreds of years. It seems like I could never. I have no time. I have no patience for that. That's something that I've done a couple, and they're agonizing to me. But
Yep.
so other
Drawn
people are
out
built for
long.
that.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I wouldn't be doing the actual short sale. We do have short sale specialists, a couple up here in the New England area. So, where are
no,
you from, Jason?
originally Philadelphia, and then
Ah.
moved to Tampa about a year ago. So I'm here.
Oh, okay. So you're down. Gualter's down near you now.
I know we've met
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so I'm just, because we're kind of coming in at the end, and I don't want to recap the whole thing. Here's a few resources in here, like this 100 True Fans is something that you should probably download for free. This
Ah.
Jab Jab Right Hook is another one. That's a whole free book. That's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Getting to the point where people, because you said, you want to educate people. Well, how you educate them is going to be the trick, because there's plenty of education on YouTube, Facebook. There's tons of people just talking into the camera. And at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a lot of reason to watch people just talking while they're driving, right? It's not really
Right.
entertaining. So
No.
why I was trying to get you to the point where, you can latch onto some colorful
Mm-hmm.
pre-made branding like M&Ms, and kind of become the candy lady, and make that kind of your thing. People will want to know what the candy lady's up to, and they might listen to her over, say,
Mm-hmm.
some lady talking in the car. Oh, that's the candy lady. She might be saying something. So
Mm.
point I'm trying to
Okay.
make is, I know what you're attempting to do is you're attempting to educate people, but people don't necessarily want to be educated, because that's work.
Mm.
They want to be entertained. So you got to figure out how to educate and
Got it.
entertain. And the only way you do that, or get your foot in that door, is you don't have to be showy. You don't have to be that, like, what you described your partner as. You simply just have to have like something visually that attracts people to you, which could be bright colors, like,
Mm-hmm.
sunflower colors or something like that. It can be, something you wear all the time. It can be like bags of M&Ms. It could be something, but that will bridge the gap between same, change the channel. Oh, interesting, something there, right? And that
Mm,
stops people, right? So you got to start thinking like that, right? And
okay.
all of these suggestions in here are how you build it up, like different tools, branding tools, stuff you can do on your phone.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna kind of go to the end of this because we were supposed to go to chapter 8, and you can kind of go
Hmm.
through this, and you can definitely reach out to me if you want to, you get questions about this or just step into one of these classes again.
All right.
Um, these are mailing stuff and other tools at your disposal to get into people's phones. All right, let's see. These are the simpler stuff. Evolution. So your brand will change with time, and it's nothing wrong with you evolving with it. But first, you have to have one before you can evolve to the next thing. And
Mhm.
that might be going from partner of Mario to your kind of your own sort of star, right? Like
Yeah.
people will
Yeah.
know you too. And like I said, you don't have to be showy. It's just what you give them, a feeling of satisfaction, of warmth. Whatever he's doing, that you can be the opposite of it. That actually makes a good team. You
Sure.
can be the quiet candy lady, or you can be the introspective person, or whatever along those lines, where he's the boisterous in your face. You can be yourself. Don't be anything but yourself. you are
Mm,
a you're just going to make yourself a super version of yourself. So the same way Clark Kent becomes Superman or Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, you
mhm.
put on this not a facade, you put on this personality a little bit more for social media, because people, it is a show, believe it or not. Not
Mm,
to be not to not to be inauthentic, or like I said, gimmicky. I mean, some people are that, but where you would be quiet at home, maybe muttering to yourself, when you're speaking to a screen, obviously you're going to project more. You're not going to be shy and introspective unless you're talking to yourself. You are going to be, you know, more, personable, and you're going to project more and probably show more energy. So
got it.
that, oh, I cannot take this right now. Can you give me 1 second? I'm sorry about that. This is
Yep.
the city. So sorry about that.
It's okay.
Real estate is wonderful when it's not, until it's not, and that had to do with some real estate and a big problem that seems to be getting resolved. So I had to take that. And normally I would just put it away, but it's been a 4 month agonizing process of trying to get to the right person. And I finally got to that person, and
Ah,
they've been calling me back and forth. And that was a little bit better news. So yeah,
good.
sorry about that. Sorry for that
No
tangent.
problem.
Um, anyway, all right. So let me see, where do we go? Gotta get that back. In the document, we had yeah, that's what we go. This one right here, some branding tips. Once you've gotten your, so this would be like, the chapter 8 part. Once you've gotten some notoriety, you've gone to the meetups, you got your name out there, you have your business card, your logo, people know you as the candy lady, the M&M lady, Marsha, whatever they know you as, and you're out there and you've got, some of those fans, customers, buyers, people that are kind of deciding if they need you or not.
Mhm.
Some of the things you're going to want to do to position yourself as an expert is obviously podcasts and people's shows. Nowadays, people will, I have a show. Everybody has a show today, and so get on, make your own. Even like you might want to, maybe you put all your effort into that. Maybe you create a show about Marsha's, foreclosure secrets or something like that, and you kind of just a daily show of talking about who you've helped during the week, and then let people ask you questions and go live on Facebook. Maybe that's what you do, or YouTube.
Cool. Yep.
Um, but getting on other people's podcasts as well. So what happens with that is if you have your own show, then other people with shows, there's kind of like this, hey, I need people for my show, you need people for your show, we
Mm,
go on each other's show. So you start to get this exposure that you normally wouldn't get. Again, if you're an interesting person, if you branded yourself well, these will, you won't have to search for so hard for these opportunities. Okay.
right.
Um,
Uh-huh.
Another way is to be seen with other influencers or people in the industry. So whenever there's an opportunity where somebody does a local RIA or anything, hey, I'm available if you need somebody to speak. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever.
Got it.
Get Become available for that. Talk to people, go to them, and then suggest to people like, hey, if you ever need someone to talk about this. And that's, you know I never really pursued speaking engagements like that, but I was
Mm,
invited to a lot of them, and if I knew the person, I would say yes. In fact, this book kind of came from a talk that somebody wanted to me to do, and was it this one? I was invited to, and they were all talking about real estate. Somebody's talking about
mm,
wholesale. Somebody's talking about that, and I was like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about personal branding. So this all came from me getting invited to somewhere and just not wanting to talk about the same stuff everybody else was talking about. So
cool.
I just kind of geared it mostly towards my journey in real estate, which a lot of people liked because it was different. It was like nobody really talks about this stuff. They only talk about the transactions and how much money they make. They don't really
Mm,
talk about how how that person became an influencer in that space. Yes, hard work, of course, but who, if nobody sees the work, or there's no evidence of it, like, or documentation of it,
mhm,
it's very hard to stand out in people's heads because, like, who are you, right? So these people rarely talk about that, but they've all done it. So this is kind of like, well, they don't talk about it, but somebody needs to talk about it. So I made that me, and that's where I ended up in stages, and even doing this with the Alchemist crew. Like nobody's
yeah,
talking about this stuff really. I mean, they do in small aspects and sprinkled throughout, but it's
mhm,
not really concentrated on. So I figured that's where I wanted to make my little stand, and I'm happy with that.
yeah.
Branding. So when if you decided to do a show, there's an app called StreamYard, and you can simultaneously stream to Facebook and YouTube and a couple other places depending on what you pay for your subscription. There's a free version, and then there's these other levels of it. You can take that stuff, and now you have video and audio you can use for podcasts, for whatever you need it for, and those become content for other social media. So you don't have to always be doing something. You can pay someone to chop up some pieces of your shows and like occasionally sprinkle it out once a day, a couple times a day over time, and that starts to get people's attention on you. All right.
Nice.
So
Yep.
FB lives. I mean, you're familiar with a lot of this because you're in the Alchemist Nation, so you see Gualter doing a lot of this stuff, and this is just
And I started as a network marketer anyway, so I know that you have to get yourself out there. Um, Before I went into wholesaling and then fix and flipping and stuff like that. So, and I'm also a realtor, so I have a lot of tools in my toolbox.
so. Let me ask you this: do you know this tip number 5? Like it says, go make a crazy video or two. Do you know who the broke agent is? Like Instagram, YouTube, and all that. He's basically an agent that does hilarious. Like everything he does is hilarious. It's just
No,
all you should follow him. All he does is
yeah.
like it's kind of like the frustrations that all realtors, anybody in the real estate industry goes through, just dealing with buyers and sellers and people's expectations and how they're just unrealistic all the time. So he's basically he's the devil on your shoulder, where you have the angel and the devil. He's the devil. He's the one that's always taking the shots because he's that's why he calls himself the broke agent, and he's hilarious.
That
But
sounds cool. Yeah.
yeah, look him up. I did like Mexican wrestling videos as a wholesaler and stuff like that. So I would say figure out something fun to do and do it, and then people will know you for that too. Um, that one got me in a lot of these videos here got me in. I had some gurus in them, so that's actually what made them kind of get a little bit more popular. But whatever gets you on people's radar, do it in a good way.
Okay.
Let me see. Cash bar control. All right. So, I mean, you could create products like little ebooks and videos. This is a perfect
Mm,
example. This is an ebook. There's videos attached to it. You just make these little small kind of tips and tricks things when people, hey, you want to know the top 3 reasons why you should call me before you start a foreclosure negotiation with a bank. Here's the report, and just send me your email, and if you can get a number, great. But send me your email, and the report goes right to you. They sign in, they get the report. They're like, hey, I'm glad for that. And then now you can
follow up.
follow
Yeah.
up or say, hey, normally I would not just go with, hey, do you need these services? Like, hey, follow me on Facebook for more tips. Follow me on Instagram for more tips. And if you ever need any, help in these services, or you can inquire, like, you may have just been. So it's the way you phrase it. You have to do it in layers. Um, but yeah, if you're interested, or anybody who needs that, please feel free to call me, and leave it there. And then over time, they might call you back. But if you keep communicating with them or showing up on social media, makes them easier for you to remember.
Mm,
You could also offer a gift of some kind, like a magnet or something to stick on the refrigerator. I mean, be creative with it, but whatever, best way to do it this way. Whatever makes you remember people, and you can look on your refrigerator, you can look at menus, you can look all over the place, mailers, for things that made you stop and not throw it away. Those
right.
are the things that you kind of got to say, hey, okay, how can I use this, and take that and put that in your marketing, because you know, game schedules, and I mean those are okay for sports fans, but I mean, is that your customer?
No.
What would your customer really enjoy? Names on pens, they're not bad. That's something, but there's not a lot of marketing you can put on a pen. So
Right.
think, like what do other real estate people do, but not really effective, and then what's one that really caught your eye, and then do that. So, like I said, or
Mhm.
send M&Ms. I mean, why not? The people
Yeah.
remember the lady who gave them candy. That's for sure. I would. So yeah, and then the rest of this is just the ways of expanding your influence and broadening your reach, and there's a lot there. There's softwares to consolidate a lot of this stuff. You know, you got CRMs, you got HubSpot, you got Hootsuite, you got this, that, the other thing,
Mm,
Active Rain. There's all kinds of ways that you can do follow-ups with people. The best thing you could do is get a phone number and even an address, because you can send stuff on birthdays if you're able to, or even just digital cards to keep it 100, and send them an Amazon gift. I would do that with past customers, actual customers, and not necessarily prospects.
sure.
But again, it's what your budget is, and you have to know what the cost of a customer is. Like, customer acquisition, it costs X amount per lead.
Hmm.
Like, what's a lead worth to you? And then that's what you spend on getting people. And then, go heavy on referrals. Maybe even set up consultation times as a gift to people, like, hey, call me for your free consultation, or workbook, foreclosure workbook, ways of getting out of it, to see if you really, framing something like, are you really, is your foreclosure really as bad as you think? I don't know, let's find out, let's do this worksheet together. And you go through and you're like, all right, so I know it seems bad, but let's look at this. Do you have this, do you have that? What are your resources? And then, maybe if you move some things around, you won't go down this route, or maybe you can buy and sell at the same time, just downsize. I mean, there's a lot of ways, but you know better than I do right now what kind of problems, what kind of solutions you can offer that are simple to you but like very valuable to other people.
Yep.
And go with that. I mean, because it's going to be a lot of work, but if you keep doing it, if you got your brand down right, if you got your marketing channel, if you're out there every once in a while, if you're doing good in the world, if you're letting people know like the results that you're getting, and anytime you do something, get a good testimonial, keep it
Mhm.
somewhere, put it, put it on the Facebook, put it on a squeeze page when people come to wherever you want to send them. marshagetin.com, you should own that. If you don't, you should go get it now. So
Yep.
you become your brand. So this book, like I said, you came in at the end, go through it, take notes, do some of the stuff, figure out
Sure.
who you want to be in the marketplace. And if you want, you can ask me what I think of it. I just threw some ideas out there, but I'll be happy to kind of just say, hey, yeah, I think you should run with that for a while.
All right. I
And
appreciate that.
yeah, go from there, and start pushing it, start building it. And over time, people will be like, oh, that's cool. I remember you. You won't you'll go from, oh, you're Mario's partner, to, oh, you're Marsha, the Marsha, or whatever. Like, you're gonna have your own identity, and you want that. Not only that, but it makes your partnership stronger, because I'm sure there's times where maybe Mario has no energy and he's like, he needs somebody to be him. So,
Oh, he loves the limelight. I don't. So
well, I mean, you might think that, but every once in a while that gets
you might
tiring.
get jealous.
I mean, like I said, you should get your own limelight too. There's enough limelight for everybody.
Yeah.
Get some of your own. You don't have to have it all. Just the idea is, this is how you're going to sell yourself, because you do not want to be that person having to always pay for like Facebook and Google ads, because they just get more expensive and more expensive, when all you
Yeah.
got to do is just be a little bit different than the two or three people are closest to you, and that'll be enough, like organically, and to get yourself the business you're looking for. I feel like that. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
we do a lot of belly to belly, but COVID put a stop to that.
yeah.
But we had people passing us, I just let them know what we do. And if they see an abandoned house with tarp on the roof, or boarded up windows, or long grass, or not plowed in the winter, and I do get lots of leads that way, because we're in a lot of networking groups like a BNI or a Chamber of Commerce or stuff like that. um, but it's kind of funny that now that you put up Gualter's name here, Gualter knows that we do fix and flips, and he gave a lead that he had to somebody who's not even really active in our group. So we were kind of, I don't know, we felt a little dissed by that.
Well, keep
But
one thing in mind.
there's plenty of stuff out there for us to get.
Also, what I found is this, right? When people are busy, they just try to take something off their plate as quick as possible, right? So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
whoever's the first came to mind at
Top
a
of
particular
mind.
time.
Yep.
If I just talked to you and you happen to be,
Yep.
luckily, the person that just hung up the phone and somebody called me, I'd be like, wait a minute, call them right back. Problem solved. I can move on. Like, that's
Exactly. Yep.
just the nature of things. So never take that person. I'm pretty sure it wasn't at all. It was
Yeah.
probably just a convenience that the person didn't.
I agree.
He just took it. He just did it that way. So yeah, I as a person who's been on both sides of that, I try not to take that any kind of way other than to say, hey, think of me next time. I know I missed the last one, but, and then they will, because they're like, oh, you know what, I forgot, but you're right. And then maybe the next lead that comes is way better than the one you missed. So keep that in mind too.
Exactly.
And you
Yep.
would have never got it, and you would have never got it had you like made a stink.
Yeah.
So, so
Or
there's
you'll
that.
never see another one if you make a stink.
I mean, there's a way uh, of reminding people about you that doesn't, I guess, shame or annoy them. And usually
Yeah.
it's with usually it's with a joke or a jab at the right time. But like, you
Got
do it, I don't know. I'm able to do it. It's hard for me to explain, but I have some emotional intelligence that maybe some people don't have, and it's
it.
catching
Right.
people at the
Right.
right time, really, not the first opportunity you see them. It's more like, you know, you're drinking or you're having a good time, like, yo, blah blah blah. I'll bet you, I don't know. I'm going
Yep.
off on a tangent. I don't want to go.
It's okay.
But
I
listen,
understand.
do you have any further questions? Because otherwise, I'm gonna go.
Not at the moment. I thank you very much. I feel privileged to being the only person on today. We'll
That's
have to
part.
get you exposed more out there.
No, that's fine. I mean, sometimes there's a lot. Sometimes there's only one, and I'll tell you the one that shows up gets all the good stuff because
There you
I
go.
mean, people pay me for these things like consulting fees, and so you're kind of getting something that people paid
For
for
free. I
free
thank you
because
and
you showed up.
appreciate it.
So yeah, right. So look at it as a win. You're on your
Thank you.
way.
Thank
You're
you.
on your way to get Galter's next lead.
There you go. All righty, Jason. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, and maybe I'll see you on one of these Saturday things. I try to tune in.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I try to get in, and it just depends on what the family's doing and
Sure.
how noisy it is. So, but yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
great meeting you, and hopefully I see you again. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Bye.